All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. In December 2017, it took $75 million over 10 years to get Jimbo Fisher to leave Florida State in order to become the head ball coach at Texas A&M. And after A&M went 9-1 in 2020, Fisher received an extension on his deal that's going to keep him in College Station through 2031 as he's now earning $9 million per year. But with all of that hype that Jimbo brought with him to College Station, A&M has not seen the productivity consistently on the gridiron on Saturdays. Aside from 2020, the Aggies have just been ordinary, while last year's 5-7 campaign, which saw them lose at home to Appalachian State, left a bitter taste in the mouths of supporters of this program. Texas A&M has given Fisher elite money, top-notch facilities, and he consistently has one of the top recruiting classes in the nation. But why can this team not get over the hump in the SEC? That right there is the million-dollar question. Now, Jimbo does recruit, but in my opinion, he's not getting the most out of those guys. Now, A&M last year, they were abysmal on offense, which resulted and former Louisville head coach Bobby Petrino being brought in to get things together on offense. And things have improved. A&M is 61st in the nation in total offense this year. They're still a work in progress, but they look a lot better than they were last year. Now, don't get me wrong, winning in the SEC is not easy, but when you pay Jimbo Fisher the type of money that Texas A&M did pay him, he was supposed to be the guy that put the Aggies in the conversation with Alabama, Georgia, and LSU atop the SEC, and that has not been the case. The Aggies started off 4-1, but now they got two straight losses. They lost a couple of Saturdays ago at home to Alabama in a tight one, and then they lost another tight one yesterday on the road in Knoxville to Tennessee. But again, these are the games that you brought Jimbo Fisher in to win. They've got two straight losses. Now they still have to deal with Ole Miss and LSU on this schedule. And honestly, I'll tell you like this: when Jimbo got that extension, I think the hunger lost left because he's not as hungry because he has so much job security going for himself right now in College Station. And of course, with Jimbo's big, contract still remaining, would the boosters in College Station pony up the bread to send Jimbo on his way? I'm not sure, but they'd also have to turn around and pay another high profile coach to come in there as they try to keep up in the SEC with the Joneses, if you will. So that's right there. It's a sticky spot for this A&M program. And with that said, I just don't think the hunger is there for Jimbo like it was maybe when he was at Florida State. Now, the SEC West next will not exist next year once Oklahoma and Texas join the conference, which means that A&M is not going to have to face Alabama and LSU every year. But even with that, there's really not a lot of soft spots on the schedule in the conference, especially once you add Oklahoma and Texas to the fray. You still got Georgia, Auburn, Ole Miss, Georgia, an improving Florida club, and I could just go right down the list of so many quality football teams in the SEC. Now, A&M paid for the Jimbo Fisher that led Florida State to the national championship. But so far, instead, they've gotten the Jimbo Fisher who coached like he did his last year at Florida State when he had one foot out the door. Now, at 4-3 right now with a pair of conference losses, the Aggies' chances of winning the SEC this year are slim, and it's going to be 25 years and counting since Texas A&M last won a conference title, and that was still in the days when they called the Big 12 home, obviously. Now, the thought process for A&M leaving the Big 12 was that they needed to get out of the shadow of Texas. But instead, they have walked right into the tsunami that is Alabama and LSU. And it's only going to get worse next season, in my opinion, once Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC. Now, of course, the question is going to be Will things change in order for Jimbo and A&M to keep up in the SEC? I'm not that sure. Again, like I said, A&M, tough loss yesterday. Don't get me wrong. They got a week off before they host South Carolina, but South Carolina's a tough out. They're on the road in Oxford the first Saturday in November to take on a darn good Ole Miss team. You still got Mississippi State, obviously Abilene Christian. They could mail that one in more than likely, and then they finish up Thanksgiving weekend on the road in Baton Rouge against LSU. So I mean, just throwing it out there. Let's say A&M finishes the regular season 7-5. Obviously, it's an improvement from last year when they were 5-7. But again, you're not paying a guy like Jimbo Fisher the type of money to be a mediocre team. Right now, through 5+ seasons at Texas A&M, his record in the conference is 25-20. Remember, once Kevin Sumlin was shown the door at Texas A&M in 2017, his record was 25-23. Just throwing it out there. So you look at it right now, something's got to give for A&M. I mean, the thing is, A&M, and this is no disrespect to anybody who follows this program, A&M wants to be, among the elite teams. And I totally get it. They've got the money, they've got the facilities, they've got the resources. But at the end of the day, they haven't seen that glory consistently, since the days of RC Slocum. And that was, a generation ago. They've tried and tried and tried, and it just has not come together. They tried with Dennis Franchione, didn't work out. They tried with Mike Sherman, didn't work out. They tried with Kevin Sumlin. He had a flash, but it didn't work out. They've tried with Jimbo Fisher. He's had a flash, but it hasn't worked out again. So I don't know what's going to happen to this Texas A&M program, but I tell you, they're going to keep trying until they get this right. But at the end of the day, you're paying big money to a big name coach to be in College Station and bring those wins. But at the end of the day, Texas A&M right now, unfortunately, is just a mediocre football team in the SEC. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'd be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.